we got to talk about Gnosticism, the Nag Hammadi. So, in the Gnostic text, it talks about Sophia and the Pleroma. The Pleroma being the original realm, you know, where creation happened, where, all the original beings come from. It is the infinite light of all that exists. And, you know, that's just the starting point. And so there was one of the aeons being the beings that reside within the pleroma. Now I think that they said there was like seven or eight of them, but when you realize that that light that they were talking about, they ended up saying it was infinite. It was an infinite light. Then you realize there's infinite aeons. So, but for some reason they just narrowed it down to like seven or eight or whatever. But anyways, Sophia was one of them. She wanted to create something out of the pleroma, um, or she wanted to create something that was different from the pleroma, you know, and she ended up creating a mistake of sorts. Now, I believe that's what's going on down here on Earth currently. She ended up creating the Demiurge, and the Demiurge was a being that thought he was all alone and the only God and all that. And so the Demiurge ended up creating the Earth and tried to create, you know, beings with life in it, but he couldn't. And then Sophia was watching him from a distance and realized, he didn't have the full power, in him to create and make life like she did. So she put her spark in the vessels that he was trying to create. You know, little did he know what she was doing. And so she did it basically to upset his creation and end up, messing it up, so to speak. Because, he was just an abomination. That's what the demiurge is. So now, how does that apply to real life on Earth? Well, there is a real pleroma. There is a real uh, origin of light or information that, you know, all beings come from within the unified verse, which means the universe, the universe, unified. So, um, and, there is the earth realm. We're there now. We're here. We are, right? Um, And little do you know, there are these beings, these fallen beings, okay? These fallen astral beings. Some are parasites, some are like larvae intelligences, some are reptilians, some are, look like crocodiles or whatever, insects, you know what I'm saying? But we're mainly going to focus on like the reptilians, because they're like the main ones messing with stuff. And so basically, source, as a lot of people put it in the spiritual community, um, you know, basically wanted to create and wanted everything to be, a shared creation where all beings can come and go and, be in unity and have an experience. And I mean, we could still have duality down here. It doesn't have to be as crazy as it is. Like things are like one sided down here. And so it's like a one sided duality. So, but basically, the source, um, there's some aspects of the source that, so you could say, wanted to distance themselves from the pleroma in real time or in the real universe. And somehow, some way, they fell from the pleroma or they tried to disconnect themselves from source, you know, and came to Earth. And basically, like a gang of thieves and thugs, they started trying to take over and mess up other people's incarnations and lifetimes and all that. And when they started doing that, they started harvesting people's souls because they started losing the ability to, make their own energy, so to speak. And, like they have their own energy, they have their own, essence and all that, but it's like they need, like higher energy, higher beings to feed off of because they've lowered themselves so much. They've gotten so lost in this matrix after thousands of years of hijacking it and, upsetting it and just messing things up, just messing up everything that, what was supposed to be the original plan and the original way to go and have experiences and so forth. So, and I mean, there's free will within the unified verse, so there you go. Shit happened. Um, but at the same time, I do think there are rules, and I think a lot of rules have been broken. So basically, there's a lot of source beings or pleroma beings that fell, distanced themselves from the pleroma, and became reptilians. And because they became reptilian in nature, they're just different. Okay, they just are different. They operate different. A lot of them reside in the astral realm. A lot of them, I don't know if all of them are quarantined here, maybe all of them, but I've heard that there are some good ones, okay, or some nice ones, or some ones that can show love or something like that. Um, so I'm not fully sure about that, but I'm talking about the bastards that are downright thuggish and are trying to steal people's soul energy and harvesting people and all that. Those are the gang of thieves I'm talking about. And they're the ones that became reptilian and started doing all this crazy stuff. And so when you wake up and you start questioning what's going on in the simulation, you start getting gang stalked. You go through gang stalking. They will apprehend you and they will gang stalk you. And they use human avatars and vessels. They can possess people and then they can full on hijack a person out of their vessel and they basically are in that person's body, and who that person used to be, whether it was Steve, Bob, or whoever, is no longer there. And it's now an astral reptilian, walking around in human form. That's one way that we have human hybrids down here. Some of them are actually born down here and incarnate and all that, but through like the hijacked system or whatever. But yeah, it's a lot of possession going on down here. It's a lot of bullshit going on down here from the reptilian bloodline. I do believe there are some human hybrids, that are actually half reptilian and half human or whatever, and they may be working with the astral reptilians as well and gang stalking people. But that's basically the gang stalking operation. Okay? It's being run by these reptilians, it's being run by these lower beings, and they're trying to keep you asleep. They're trying to stop you from waking up and returning to the pleroma. Because if too many of us return back to the pleroma, this simulation's going to end, and then they're going to have to answer back to the pleroma. They're already being watched as we speak, okay? So if you've ever seen a reptilian, or you think you've seen somebody's eyes turn to a slit, which I have several times, more than several times, I've encountered these beings, whether they were straight up possessing a person or they were in human hybrid form, physically, like straight up incarnated, you know, incarnated as a person, half reptilian, whatever. Uh, yeah, like they're here, man, and they've been fucking with us. Okay, I'm not a reptilian. I am a being from the pleroma, or someone else told me that some of us come from samsara, which is very interesting because samsara is the wheel. There is a wheel that exists within existence, and some of us actually take turns spinning that wheel. But you have to be of high knowledge to understand that, and the high frequency and all that. And I had that information downloaded to me. But yeah, like there's an NDE or two out there where people have encountered this wheel. It's basically reality, you know, realities, infinite realities, like spinning and circulating or whatever, or oscillating, basically. The wheel of oscillation or existence. So, but I think there's many wheels, like, because I mean, there's room for more than one wheel. We're talking about, you know, the infinite here. But so this is what we're dealing with, man. Like, if you're going through gang stalking, if you are being targeted, if you are just going through being stalked and followed, you think you are having energy weapons used on you, frequencies and all that. You think you're being tracked and monitored. You think people are breaking into your house. whatever it is, okay? Um, it could be being done by reptilians. It could be being done by, either astral reptilians possessing people or whatever, however, that they're doing it. But it is the reptilian bloodline. They're also in positions of power. They're also, in our government. And they're freaking up and down, the everyday neighborhoods that we live in, okay? In and out of the astral realm, messing with people, possessing people's human forms, attaching to their auric fields, making them commit actions and say things and do shit that they wouldn't usually do. And if they're able to, they'll straight up snatch their soul out of their body and take over their vessel. And then you're really dealing with some bullshit then. But that's what gang stalking is, okay? Gang stalking is being done by reptilians, by the reptilian bloodline. So, what you got to do is, okay, you have to basically raise your consciousness, get more information, do some research, meditate, try to be the best version of yourself, make an effort to do good, make an effort to be a neutral, good individual, okay? You want to be authentic as well. You want to tell the truth. You want to shine the light on bullshit. You want to be a beacon of light in the darkness and the dark void of the demiurge, okay? You want to go beyond the void into the light. You want to go to the greater central sun, you know? The greater central sun, um, that is the pleroma, okay? That is, where creation sprang from, the infinite light, the infinite realm of information and intelligence. And these beings don't want to give up being what they are down here. They love this simulation and the way things are going. This battle to survive, this financial slavery, and all this stupid shit that's going on down here. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, they love it. They love it. I don't know why. Don't ask me, but they love it. And this the stuff that some of us have to go through. It's retarded. Like, who would love this? Who wants to struggle? Who wants to? And even if you're not struggling, even if you're financially well off, like, you still are unaware. You still are ignorant of what's going on and what you might meet in the afterlife, or what's going on, with your soul, where your soul's going when you die. Like, seriously, you're still in ignorance. And so you should be aware. You should want to be more aware of what's going on. You should want to be like informed, but it is what it is. A lot of people don't care about this stuff. They just want to scratch their ass, eat their potato chips, and watch Monday Night Football and go to work. It is what it is. But I'm one of the ones that's trying to help humanity as best as I can. But this is what's going on. This is what is behind gang stalking. The real gang stalking, not the fake gang stalking where people say they're targeted, but they're really not. They're just either, I don't want to say the word, they're either just nuts or they're just, hallucinating, or they think they're being targeted, but they're not. Like, some people really do have mental problems, okay? Like, I'm not dismissing that. But, I'm talking about the real targeting here, the real astral spiritual targeting that has to do with the origins of creation, okay? You're being targeted because you're a source player, you're from the pleroma, you're an aspect, a sun child from the greater central sun that, hasn't fallen. Okay, you still carry that original frequency, and these reptilians, these fallen beings, okay, these demonic entities, so to speak. Um, you know what I'm saying? They want to steal your light and your information and your energy and siphon it and keep you harvested here so they can keep this simulation running. If too many source players leave, and go back to the light, like, this shit is going to start crumbling. It's going to start dying, you know? Um, and yeah, like, they do have a right to be here too because they are from source, but yet at the same time, um, they are basically playing the game in a dirty fashion. Like, they're dirty ass players. Okay, they're dirty. And it's time to put them in their place. I'm just saying. But anyways, I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm telling you, that is what is behind the phenomenon of gang stalking. These reptilian beings are everywhere, all around you, possessing people. And when your frequency raises high enough and you are able to plug back into the infinite peace of the greater central sun from the origins of existence, then you will see this. You will literally see in real time people's eyes changing, people being possessed, people's avatars being taken over, people being body snatched. Okay? And you even see hybrids walking around and stuff. Like you'll see all kind of stuff. More than that, you'll probably start having dreams, visions, premonitions, feelings, spiritual downloads, intuitions, all that, man. But it's up to you if you want to raise your energy and see all that. But it's up to you if you want to do the work, but that's what it is, man. So I hope you got something out of this. And I'm gonna be making more content like this because this ain't a one and done. But anyways, peace.